Hello and welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Trade Minister T Hammond hits hard at critics of a legislative instrument to restrict the importation of selected items. Also, new U.S. report warns Ghana could struggle in getting its debts with China restructured as it pegs loan granted after HIPAA completion at more than $30 billion, and Bank of Ghana to start easing policy rate from the beginning of next year, a move that would boost the real estate sector. We'll hear from Fit Solutions. Stay with us for details. My name is Darryl Kwa. Thanks for being with us this morning. If you're listening from Koforidua, you're probably listening on KTU Radio. Hello and welcome, everyone. First up, Trade and Industry Minister T Hammond has taken a swipe at critics of the legislative instrument to restrict the importation of selected items. This is coming after the suspension of the LI by the government. The Trade Minister described the criticisms as surprising, saying the restrictions will not cause Ghanaians to starve. The Trade Minister explained the policy was not to take undue advantage of businesses, but to build an economy to benefit local firms. He was speaking at the 12th AGI Industry and Quality Awards.
And you guys are telling the whole world that T Hammond intends to create starvation in the country. I am very much conscious of the fact that we do not have enough production capacity in the country. Our store capacity is not enough. I did not intend to ban. I intended to restrict and in the process encourage local production. I don't think I was doing anything wrong. T Hammond produces a legislative instrument which allows you, that is certified customer, importer, to go to the court for redress. You call that corruption?
That was the Trade and Industry Minister T Hammond. Now, Ghana could struggle in having its debts with China restructured. Georgia Affair has been going through the U.S.-China Economic Review Commission's report and brings us some more detail.
The warning was based on how the Chinese government has handled other countries that has pushed for debt cancellation or restructuring. The Commission was worried that despite repeated requests, China has refused to provide sufficient debt relief to these countries that are said to be in distress, including Ghana. China rather looked at extending the loan maturing for these countries. The Commission also raised concerns about how sometimes China impedes multilateral efforts in restructuring the debt owed these distressed countries, what it also did to Zambia. The concerns raised by the U.S. is coming at a time that Ghana is struggling to reach a deal with China on restructuring its debts. The delay has forced the IMF to postpone this board meeting on Ghana to approve the disbursement of some $600 million for Ghana. Joy Business understands that the IMF has scheduled a new board date for Ghana before the end of this year, with everything in place to disburse the funds. However, this will be dependent on getting that letter of comfort from the Official Creditor Committee, which includes China, on time. But if all these concerns captured in this U.S. report are anything to go by, then Ghana may be in for some tough times ahead when it comes to restructuring its debt owed China. Meanwhile, the Commission report shows that since the completion of the HIPAA program in 2004 by Ghana, we saw all its debts wiped. Ghana's fresh debts owed China has reached $31.1 billion.
Georgia, Affair with that report, the Bank of Ghana will start easing the policy rate from the beginning of next year. That's according to UK-based Fit Solutions. This, it believes, will ease interest rates and bolster the real estate sector, which has not been doing so well. Given a Sub-Saharan Africa update recently, it said the outlook of the Ghanaian economy is improving. Here's Mike Kruniger, Senior Country Risk Analyst for Sub-Saharan Africa at Fit Solutions.
The real estate sector has not been faring well in Ghana for a number of quarters now, which is not a surprise given the very sharp monetary tightening that we have seen by the Bank of Ghana. So our view is that the Bank of Ghana will most likely start cutting interest rates at the beginning of 2024. So that should eventually bode well for credit uptake and therefore mortgages as well. So that should improve the real estate sector, but it will take for this to filter through. So the real estate sector for most of 2024 will remain weak, but I think a more robust recovery will be seen in 2025 beyond that.
That was Senior Country Risk Analyst for Sub-Saharan Africa at Fifth Solutions, Mike Kruniger. Meanwhile, IC says the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana's decision to hold the policy rate firmly aligns with its view on the near-term outlook for the policy rate, as both core and headline inflation remain over the upper targets as of October 2023. Furthermore, it says the authorities require a positive real policy rate to achieve a sufficiently tight monetary policy stance. It is, however, forecasting a decline in inflation potentially below 29% in November 2023. This will make it possible to restore a positive real rate within the next month. Banking consultant Nanotue Champong is optimistic the Ghana Financial Stability Fund will rebuild confidence in the financial sector. The process to scrutinize requests from banks and other financial institutions have begun, and according to Nanotue Champong, the sector is gradually recovering from the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. He spoke on Business Live on the Joy News channel.
Confidence, yes, 100%, because since we've already said that the institutions in the system were affected, it means that their confidence has been damaged to some extent. Now, the idea of the fund is to help restore that confidence. So it is very crucial. Already, we have seen some rebound, especially in the banking sector, that the provisioning that were made, have some of them have reversed themselves, and now the banks are showing profit. So I think it was a temporary measure. So in the long term, they will reverse, and therefore the operationalization of this stabilization fund will go to a greater extent to restore the confidence that was unfortunately lost through the DDEP.
You heard banking consultant Nanotue Champong. Now, human resource recruitment in Ghana is experiencing a dynamic shift according to a new report on HR Outlook in Ghana. According to the report, many employees are hired through social media platforms compared to employee referrals and internal talents. Listen to Dr. Eric Afodazi, lead researcher for the survey, who spoke at the HR Outlook conference.
The highlight in the report starts with the top hiring sources, right? That is to say, where do organizations in Ghana, as far as 2022 is concerned, get their employees? We saw a surprising addition. I said that we have known this for some time, but it appears that the HR body in Ghana, is not that conservative anymore. They are using social technologies to recruit. So we saw LinkedIn coming first. So there's a balance of the usual conservativeness and then a bit of progressiveness, we can say so. So you are using employee referral, but at the same time, more and more of them are becoming progressive using LinkedIn, to recruit.
Dr. Eric Afodazi is lead researcher for HR Outlook survey by auditing firm KPMG and the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management. Now, the Institute for Energy Security is warning of further surge in the price of crude oil in the coming days if attacks on vessels transporting crude oil and other petroleum products through parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe continue. The attacks, predominantly carried out by Yemen Houthi rebels, is due to the current war between Israel and Hamas. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Director of the IES, Nana Mwesi VII, said the development should be of great concern to Ghanaians. He's been explaining.
The Straits of Hormuz, you have more than 21 million barrels of oil moving through that on daily basis, and that is about 22% of the global oil supply. So should they extend the attacks around this area, then of course we are going to see a disruption in global oil supply and a squeeze of supply as well. And anytime you see oil supply challenges, definitely it is going to contribute to a price in the surge in price of crude oil, and that will impact on the derivatives of the crude oil as well.
You heard Executive Director of the IES, Nana Mwesi VII. Let's turn to the commodity market. Not looking bad for crude oil. It dropped marginally to $73 a barrel. Gold is selling at $1,978 an ounce after losing $18. Cocoa, however, increased by $24 to open trading at $4,235 a ton. Now, West Africa has a few advantages over other food-growing regions. High-quality soil and the taste of the food is also very good. Pure and Just Company Limited is putting that to good use by producing healthy, natural dried fruit snacks whilst reducing food waste and increasing farmers' incomes. The Joy Business van is at the production facility in Accra today.
In the days of Sisemu, about 5 years ago, we had a small oven-like dehydrator. We could only do about 24 pieces of pineapples, roughly 20 kilograms of pineapples per day, fresh fruit. But currently, we're able to do 1 ton. That's 1,000 kilograms of pineapples per day, each day. And our monthly capacity of fresh fruit is about 20 tons of fresh fruit, which is 20,000 kilograms of fresh fruit. And dried fruit output is 2 tons of dried fruit, which is 2,000 kilograms of dried fruit.
After hours of drying, we get to see the final products.
So dried fruits can last between 9 months to a year. And so it's the best form of preserving food, in my opinion. So if you, and it's also a way to get kids to eat fruits. If you have dried fruit at home and your kids struggle to eat fresh fruits or vegetables, you can use dried fruit. Our mangoes taste like they are candy-like, and so kids also love it a lot.
Well, the global dry foods market size was $6.10 billion in 2020. And so it just gives you an idea, the potential there. So make a date. That's 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel. Before we go, your currency market update: a dollar going for 12 cedis 15 pesos, a pound 15 cedis 18 pesos, and the euro 13 cedis 3 pesos. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. And Kuji Yankson is here with more of the Super Morning Show.
I am, yeah. And yesterday you told me your favorite